Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cantina MX Football Podcast. I'm your host, Jaime Landeros. We have CONCACAF Champions Cup second leg matches going on live right now. We'll be talking about that and how the gap is now anywhere close between Liga MX and MLS, at least in this Philadelphia Union versus Pachuca match. We also have some results from Liga MX that we'll be going over, and of course, all the Chivas woes continuing to struggle when it comes to the big boys. And we are approaching the Nations League matches. Jimmy Lozano has announced the team that will be playing against Panama, so we'll talk about that. But before we go any further, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Manscaped. Save 20% and free shipping at manscaped.com with the promo code CANTINA. Make sure to take care of your huevos, guys, especially as we approach Easter. As of right now, we have Pachuca. Oh, man, they just scored another goal. They're up 6-0 against Philadelphia Union. If you guys remember, the first game was a snooze-fast 0-0. But here in the 87th minute, they've been killing it. Rondon, the traveler who has played in the EPL, who's played in Russia and China, even went to River Plate. Now he's at Pachuca, 34 years of age, has a hat trick. Also, Chiquito Sanchez has a goal or two in this match. It's been an absolute dominant performance by Pachuca. And I have Abdias joining me. You know, when I think about Pachuca and what they've accomplished ever since moving to the short season, they are extremely dominant. Won all of their titles since 1997 and have won 5 Champions League titles. And the way they're performing today, could be number 6 this season.
Buenas putos. Yes, very much so. Ranchuca has and is and has been. Gracias. Yo también los extrañé. Pero ese es tema para más al rato, ¿verdad? No hay pedo, nos escondemos. Pero la cosa es, Ranchuca has been consistent ever since switching over. In fact, if I suggest, and we've had this conversation before, that the Grandes should be reestablished looking at the short format versus the long format in Los Históricos like Chivas. Because Ranchuca has been putting in those numbers where they have been consistent. Same thing as Toluca. Toluca has gotten most of their championships in the short season format.
So you're saying replace Cruz Azul with either Toluca or Pachuca? I'm all for that.
Señor, todavía estamos empatados y tenemos más que ellos. La cosa es, donde te empieza a sudar is when we start talking about Chivas and their accomplishments and when it is that they got them. Oh, that's right. They got them in El Año del Queso back in black and white.
Look. We've talked about this. You know, we had a really deep discussion about, like, should we reconsider the big four? Chivas America will always be there no matter what. Even if Chivas, like, cease to exist and just stop winning titles for, 20, 30 years, they'll still be considered the most popular team and one of the biggest clubs in Mexico because of, the rules that they have, playing with only Mexicans. But maybe one day they'll be like Atletico Bilbao, right?
Señor, playing with only Mexicans? Come on. You have somebody on the squad who doesn't know the national anthem. You have somebody on the squad who had never been to Mexico City. You have somebody on the squad with who the teammates cannot talk with because they don't speak the same language. And no, I'm not talking about Wale. I'm talking about your cowboy.
Cowboy Cal, who we'll talk about that later, but he did get booed off in his last game with Chivas. I'm just looking at this Pachuca game, and I really started thinking about them. Like, I respect their hustle. 7 titles since 1997, and then 5, Champions League titles. I mean, you can't ignore that, man. That's dominance, and they're in 3rd place as far as most titles for this tournament. Number 6 is 6 titles is Cruz Azul, right? And then America has the most with 7.
For short season?
No, for the Champions League.
Oh, yes, yes. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so they're number 3 already of all time in the Champions League. Cruz Azul, man, you guys must have won them back in the day when nobody was keeping score or something. Because I don't recall you. When's the last time you guys won a Copa, a Champions League?
Oof, I want to say neta way. I want to say maybe 2014. Oh no, around there, maybe 16. I remember it was towards the end of El Chaco's time.
Let's
Like literally,
see,
his words were when he won it is like, "Ahora me puedo
2014.
requedar." Told you, te dije, papá.
You guys beat Toluca in that final.
Mm-hmm. And El Chaco gave the best speech ever, where I almost cried. Where he's like, "Look, we've been trying and trying and trying. We might not have won the league, but we have given Cruz Azul the prestige that it deserves, and I can finally retire in peace."
Wow. And then he his son, right, carried the legacy.
A huevo, and he's still doing it over in Europe. In fact, he's going further and above than his father ever did.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what you hope, right? Your offspring do better than you. I mean, you look at Javier Hernandez; he's third generation. He's killed it. Chiquito, you know how I feel about him. I think it's expected for him to score in the Dutch league. Like if Josie can score, anybody can score, and I expect nothing less of him. But he was quiet for a minute. Now he's starting to score goals, but he was quiet for a minute. I was like, what's going on with him?
Yeah, and I told you he was coming off of a muscular injury.
Yeah.
Like it had been well noted, it had been talked about. Like, hey, he's not 100%. That's why he wasn't starting either. He was coming on as a sub. Now he's starting to get more consistent minutes. He's starting to do it. But it was, yeah, say when he doesn't put the ball in by just staring at it. And us Mexicans, we have a short mindset. We're like, ay, güey, ¿qué está pasando? No, el pinche cielo se está cayendo.
Yes, the drama. There's a lot of drama going on in Liga MX. Really quickly though, I'm gonna go over these Champions League results in CONCACAF. First leg, Eridano beat Robin Hood 2-0. They will play tomorrow at 3 p.m. for all the glory. Philadelphia Union 0-0 with Pachuca, and they just finished right now 6-0. Complete dominant performance. I will say even FC Gorditos' team would probably put up a better fight than Philadelphia Union tonight. And then we had obviously the big ugly defeat by Chivas at home, 3-0 to Club America. It was ugly, and they will play each other tomorrow at 7:30. I don't think they'll be able to swing it, but we shall see. New England Revolution beats Alujense 4-0, and I believe they also play on Thursday for that return leg. Houston Dynamo 1-0. They actually lost to Columbus, and then they lost again today. So Houston Dynamo has been eliminated. Cincinnati lost to Rayados 1-0. They'll play on Thursday. Nashville had a 2-0 lead over Inter Miami and Messi FC, and they allowed them to get back into the game. Messi scored, and then the Dracula Luis Suarez scored in stoppage time, tied the game 2-2. So there will not be any upsets. I think Inter Miami are going to win this series. It's part of the script, right? You don't want to see them get bounced in the first round. And then the last game, Orlando City and Tigres, first leg 0-0, and they're about to kick off very shortly. So those are the Champions Cup results as of right now. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with it, but any team that sort of feels like the favorites to win it all, or is it still a little bit too early?
Honest man, I would say too early at this point. There there hasn't been enough action to really tell, and if anything, any more like quality action. because holy shit, we just saw fucking Philly get their shit pushed in 6-0.
Yeah.
Like that's not a quality contest. You know, we just saw Chivas get their shit pushed in 3-0. That's not a quality contest. So
Hmm.
therefore, like there's no real opposition at this moment.
I'm just wondering, because this is something that's brought up every single time MLS season just kicked off. They've barely had 3 fixtures. Meanwhile, Liga MX has been playing for over 11 fixtures. So how much of that, goes into these matches, right? You have the Liga MX teams have a clear advantage. They're in better shape. They have more rhythm going into these matches, and it was quite evident today with Philly just getting trounced.
Look, it's enough to say me la pelas y te chingaste because this is the same thing that happens during Leagues Cup. It's just the other half of it, right? Because when Leagues Cups happen, what's the issue? The Mexican clubs are barely coming off of preseason. I don't know how they're gonna do it this year, if they're gonna accommodate the Mexican schedule or not. But it's hey, we just played 2, 3 jornadas. We're going on a month-long break. Like nothing is really gelling together yet. Nothing gives us that competitive edge that they might be complaining about right now. So therefore, it does give it a different flavor and a different turn of events.
Mm. I just know that they'll always use that as an excuse as to, why Liga MX has dominated this tournament, in the last like 20 years. I know that's always an excuse that they like to throw out there. Um, it's still too early, right, to like pick out a favorite or to say, hey, this team looks good, because any given Sunday, they'll flip the script. I look at obviously the big ones. America's in great form, no denying that. Pachuca is in great form. Tigres, they know that they can close it out today at home. And Rayados, they're the only ones that I'm not really entirely convinced by. Um, it's the typical thing with Rayados. I think they're like always like the sleeping giant, and I know in Liga MX right now they're in first place, but at least their first leg performance against Cincinnati wasn't enough to be like, oh wow, these guys are plugged in, ready to go.
Could it be because they do that thing that you always say that they should do and not worry about the actual season until the end? Just worry about winning playoffs, and that's what they do best.
Yeah, I mean they have a tremendous squad, and Brandon Vasquez is in incredible form. I'm sure it must have been very difficult for Cincinnati to concede that goal from the striker that they sold. And Brandon Vasquez, hate him or love him, man, he's scoring goals. And again, at the end, the biggest idiot continues to be Ricardo Peláez for allowing him um, to missing out on that opportunity to sign him for Chivas.
Yeah, but at that point in time, was he worth it? Was he the right fix for Chivas? Because I'll be honest, guys, and you guys keep shitting on him, but when Ricardo Peláez first came in, first showed his refuerzos and everyone that he was bringing on board, even I was like, ay, güey, estos vatos van a violar.
Yeah, I mean, Peláez did the Chiva Galacticos when he first came in. It was kind of a weird thing too, with like COVID happening. But I mean, sounds like we have Joel joining us now. But Joel, can you hear us? What was I gonna say? They showed the clip of him, hey, what happened with Brandon Vasquez? He's like, oh, I checked my sources. He was only worth like 500K, and they asked for 5 million, and we couldn't even get a conversation going. Then, he was recently on, I think it was ESPN Deportes, and he's like, all right, this is what actually happened. Like, we're going back and forth, and then we gave them what they wanted, and they still said no. And he keeps constantly changing his story, which is like, you're full of shit, bro. Like, just say that you guys were broke.
I mean, he doesn't need to say it. We all know Chivas is broke.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is one of the things that constantly comes up, especially when Chivas are, very frustrating to watch. They had that game against um, Cruz Azul, and they lost 3-0. And they just haven't been playing the best football. They lost against Leon on Saturday 2-1. Another incredibly frustrating match, and I think Gago is starting to get a little exposed. And like I mentioned earlier, Kid Cowell, when he got subbed off, was booed. So I feel like the tide has turned, and the sort of the patience is not there anymore with the fans.
Yeah, no, you definitely have a point. In fact, I'm happy that you're bringing it up because I've been wondering, like, yo, bro, how are you walking around? Because you just took 3 fist fuckings in the ass back to back to back. Like,
Yo,
how are you doing it?
yeah, it was a terrible day to have eyes in the chat a couple days ago. Um, I appreciate the visual for everyone that that isn't a part of our group chat. Yeah, it was pretty aggressive visionary shit you've been saying about Chivas. It's incredibly frustrating, especially with the way they started the season and some of the promises that were made, some of the signings that they made. The players, not the players, the fans did their part. They sold out. They bought all the tickets. They started to show up to the airports. The fans have been there, and things were looking good against Pumas. But then you face reality when you play against like the Cruz Azuls of the world, in America. It's basically just exposing them for what they are. Like they really aren't one of the top teams in the league. They're very inconsistent, and their defending is atrocious.
Sí, güey, pero ¿qué no dices a Dreyfus? Nos dijo, eso no es lo que juega Chivas. Chivas tiene otro tipo de grandeza, ¿ok? Y es jugar con puros mexicanos. Esa es la grandeza de Chivas. No son los títulos, no es nada más. Entonces, ¿sabes qué, güey? No pidas títulos porque no los vas a ganar. Tu equipo no está hecho para eso. Aprende, eres un pinche equipo de medio pelo y para eso es para lo que estás.
I don't agree with all that because we were 45 minutes away from winning a league title not too long ago.
Hey,
So
how many? Okay, espérate, wait. How many minutes has Cruz Azul been away from winning multiple league titles?
no, I'm just
No
saying.
mames,
No,
güey.
what
No
I'm saying.
mames. You can't hold on to una Cruz Azulada
No,
y decir, no, güey, no, pues no, nos fue bien. And it's the fact that you guys celebrate that season
no, no,
more
no, no. It's not.
because you kicked out America. Like, that is the single team that rescued your entire season. It's not so much the fact that you lost in 20 minutes. You hold on to that high because y'all booted America.
No,
That's what rescues your
look.
season.
I'm not over
Bro,
here.
stop being a dirty, lying chemo. I have never heard a Chiva hermano say that.
Yeah, dude.
You're like making up arguments in your head, like Ricardo.
Well, nobody's celebrate. No one in our fan base is celebrating a second place. Like nobody. But it's more of like a measuring stick. Like, hey, this team is not that far off from the rest of the league. At least that was the interpretation. Like we made it to a final in Panovic's first try, and very close to winning it. So it's like the question is like, oh, we can't be that bad, right? But I think the difference is like maybe after that season, the other teams went to their bank accounts and made adjustments, and Chivas did quite the opposite. They got rid of players. So it wasn't a matter of like, oh, Chivas is trash. It's more about like the other teams were able to make investments and Chivas are trying to squeeze, two pennies together.
Senor, we have it on the record of you being on here being, no, we're going to go back to back. This changes everything. I'm pretty sure I heard your dick getting hard while you were saying that. Andabas de que no, que pinche equipo de la época y quién sabe qué tantas otras madres, ¿verdad? A la mano de Pauno.
I don't
luego,
I don't know about all that. I did say though that the job's not done, and that was the impression that I got from the players that it just wasn't our time, but we're gonna go after it next season, and obviously that wasn't the case.
And
Jaime,
I told
excuse me, I want to call out a bit more fake news. Abdias, are you Mexican? Do you consider yourself Mexican?
A huevo.
Okay. $20 on the spot right now. No searching. Sing the Mexican national anthem. One,
No,
2, 3. No, no se lo sabe. No
¿cuál,
se lo
güey?
sabe el
Mexicanos al
culero,
grito
güey.
de guerra con el acero al rudir del timor. Like, no mames, güey. Sí me
No
lo
se lo
sé.
sabe el güey, man. Don't be hating on K. Kyle for not knowing the national anthem. When
No
half the
mames, güey.
beaners that hate on them don't know it either.
No
Fake
mames,
news,
güey.
Tremo. Fake
Si
news,
me lo
Tremo.
sé. Si yo te... Güey, a ver, mira, aquí está la otra. ¿Hiciste tu cédula militar? ¿Tienes tu tarjeta militar?
No, I migrated here when I was 4.
No mames, güey. Yo también viví aquí, pero yo todavía fui para atrás y hice mi tiempo. Hice
No,
mi
but
cédula militar.
I'm a DACA boy.
No, güey. I wouldn't say that too loudly.
It's all right. I got nothing to fear. Ricardo already called immigration twice.
Plus, don't you have your anchor wife?
I do actually. So I'm good. And I got my 2 anchor babies too. So I'm doing it the right way.
All right. Well, the discussion was on Chivas, Gago, Cowl, again, short leash. When should we expect the fans to start booing Chicharito?
Boo Chicharito. Nah, mames. He's the only one. Nah, I don't say the only one. The ones that are hustling out there are Mozo, Piojo 80% of the time, and Chicharito. Everybody else looks mentally checked out. That's how Mexicans are, man. You gotta realize, like, they gave 12 strict months under Pauno, and like you said, you didn't really add much to the roster. So, what makes you think that they're gonna come in and give another 12 strict months to a new coach? Like that's it. You know, it's like we work hard, nos partimos la madre, and then afterwards we want a beer. The most we'll go sober is like 20 days. It's the same thing over there, you know. They gave Pauno the best juice out of him. Why was anyone think that some other guy's gonna come in and they're gonna buy into it and give him 100% as well? Nah, man, they need like a 6-month mental break, and they're taking advantage of it right now.
Yeah, I don't know. All I know is that Gago's tactics are not working. And, unfortunately, we've seen some players get erased from the team. Your Yael Padillas, your Brigidos, that looked promising last season. So I don't know, guys. How much does Gago have left on this team? Like, you think if they get absolutely ridiculed in tomorrow's match and then the upcoming Clásico en Liga MX, you think that'll do it for him, or does he
If,
survive?
or do you mean when?
I'm just saying if.
No, it's gonna happen. And honestly, I don't think it has to do with the coaching so much. You know, the players are checked out. You can just tell the attitude. They are donezo. Maybe there's a few. Wally also, he looks like he's trying to do something. But no, like your leaders, like Nene Beltran, he just came out and said his mom has cancer. Pocho, he's maybe Palmer was right for benching him the whole time. Uh, Marin, he tries, but the dude's like a little dick. He gets thrown around so easily. I just think this team is done, man. I think it's mentally checked out. I don't even think the coach matters. I think, like I said, you gave somebody hard dedication for 12 months. They need a mental break. And in order to avoid that, what you do is you consistently like replace players with better players or equal value to keep that motivation up there. And all they did was bring in a new coach and a guy who wasn't available for what, like 10 jornadas. And Kate Cowell, who's just like a physical player. That's all he's gonna give you, physical advantages. He doesn't really have great soccer IQ. He was never a goal scorer, so I don't know why everyone's just disappointed that he hasn't scored many goals. He's never been that guy. He's always just been a winger. But honestly, I think what Chivas needs is a Pauno profile type of coach, like European that likes to be physical, that likes to do high pressing, that doesn't rely so much on technical ability like Latino coaches do. Because Latino coaches like to touch the ball, acariciarla como
Uh
los huevos de tías con este Ricardo. But what's gonna happen is we don't have those players, man. We don't. Even from your center backs from playing out, Pollo is not that guy. Tiba's
Nope.
not that guy. Even in the middle, like on the wings, like the only technical players we have is like Piojo, and maybe like one or two others. That's it. So I think you have to bring like someone that likes that physical game, and that's why Pauno fit in so great because he had that English background, he had that MLS background, and that's how they play over there, and that's why they bought into his system.
He played to their strengths. Um,
Yeah.
Gago's dealing with, like you mentioned, not a technical team, not a team that can do the things that maybe he's used to in Argentina. But I think that I'd be because I think about the director, right? The sporting director. It's Fernando Hierro. I don't think he's the type of person that's going to cave in and get rid of Gago in his first season, especially because this is really his first appointment, right? This was his guy. Paunovic was not his guy. This is his first suggestion and so I don't think he'll get canned.
I don't know about can, but I can see it mutual. I can see Gago going up to Hierro and say, Boludo, ¿para qué me traíste aquí? Estos mexicanos son malísimos. ¿Cómo? Ugh. Boca nunca perdería 3 veces contra River, 4-0, 3-0, nunca. No tienen orgullo, no tienen pasión, no tienen huevos. ¿Qué voy a hacer yo? Yo me voy. You'll say some shit like that.
Nah, I don't think he'll leave. I don't think he'll leave. I don't think he'll resign.
I don't know. I mean, there's so much a coach can do, and if you're like trying to do I'm telling you because I've been in that situation, man. I actually resigned one season. I was coaching this team, and we were like winning everything the prior seasons, and then our derby, like we got smoked like 5-0, and it just felt like the message I was trying to convey to the players, it wasn't out there. And I'm like, you know what? We've been together like for 5 seasons. We won everything. I guess there's just no spark there no more. So I actually resigned, and my assistant coach took over. So
Damn.
that's why I think like there's a point where like
Dude, 11
you as a coach
games?
you can feel it,
11
man.
games?
Yeah, man, pero esos mexicanos son malos, boludo. Who wants to deal with that?
Dude, he's just getting started. I don't think he'll do it after 11. I would believe it after like after a year. Okay, like let's reevaluate, but this guy, he's only had a couple months. So, I don't know. I just know that the pressure in Mexico with the fans and the journalism and the media, like it's going to eat him up. It's been
Oh, speaking of the fans, do you see that? So Chivas are already in Mexico City, getting ready for a second leg. Only two fans welcome them to the hotel. So none of that, mariachi bullshit. Like none of that. No passion. It's not like hundreds of people showed out. Two fans showed out, and I said it before, man. I don't know how those fans in Mexico City do it because I feel like every time Chivas goes out there, except the last time when they knocked America out, what Diaz was talking about. Outside of that series, they always get smoked, but the fans always showed out. And right now, they're like, enough is enough. Only like two guys showed up. Hopefully, that's a wake up call to the players. But honestly, I don't even think they care.
I know because they were just there to play Cruz Azul, right?
Yeah, they were just there to play Cruz Azul, and the place was packed. It was crazy. Like, they're flexing like the
That
whole
was
airport being packed, the hotel being packed.
that was 10 days ago, dog.
Yeah, and now for you to fly back and only two people are waiting for you
Bro,
out
it
of
is
like
cold out there,
6,000.
dude. Have you
Yeah,
seen a more toxic relationship? I
I wouldn't call it toxic, man. Like I would say it's the Chivas cycle.
bro,
They fire
we're
Gago, somebody comes in, the team picks up form for 5, 6 games, and then they dip again. Like you will only see different results like 5% of the time. Because if you think about it, of all the coaches that came in like the last 10 years, who were the only ones to do something different? Almeida, who actually won titles,
yep.
and then Pauno, who was close to winning a title. But outside of that,
It's
it's
been the
been
same.
not making a liguilla, get knocked out in quarterfinals, repechaje, no real style of play, roller coaster, ups and downs. And I get
Wait,
it.
wait, what did Almeida do different?
He won titles.
I thought you were talking tactics, though. I mean, he won titles
man.
because they brought in all those players from Grupo Pachuca.
Talk bad
all
about
of the players that had won championships with Pachuca and León. That's why Chivas won. Right there. They had that championship team already.
I'm gonna quote
bunch of players.
I'm gonna quote you on what you said about Piojo and Gallito.
Go on.
You said, at the end of the day, Piojo still had to play him, you know. Hey, at the end of the day, Almeida still had to play him. Almeida still had to put him in a position they felt comfortable. And Almeida won titles, and what, fucking 11 years before Almeida, no one else won titles. And now it's about to be 11 years after Almeida, and no one has won titles. So give the man some respect.
Yeah, I mean, you bring a team like that, of course, Chivas bound to win something, but that was a lot of players that were had already
I don't think so, because we've had better squads. We've had better squads than we haven't won anything.
Campeonatos. Really, the players that came into Chivas.
You're telling me in 2010 when we made the Copa Libertadores final, like that wasn't one of our best squads, like, and we didn't win anything.
No. It wasn't a really good squad by that point.
I mean, in recent times, dude, that squad was loaded.
No,
dude.
not the 20. No, it wasn't. Go look at it again. It was. That's why, and it's interesting because Güero doesn't get much credit. The fans hate him. They say he sucks as a coach. And but look at some of those players. The thing is, they've been at the club. You know, they've been at the club for a while now. But some of those players are already older. I think Bravo was there, Bofo. But compared to the squad that came in for the campeonato with all those guys that came in, they were like Gallito and forgetting their names. But all of them from Pachuca, León, all of them had won championships. They just, they already knew what to do.
So Almeida just sat in the back and everything was on autopilot.
No, he played his role, but I mean, I think fans like you guys give him way more credit because
of course, dude, he won. He's the only one that's won something, dude.
Hey,
okay, see, hold on. Okay, hold on.
Titles, and the players gave him credit. I remember when Pauno showed up. I don't remember who the player was, but they were like, "We haven't felt this since Almeida was here." They literally said that. Like, those were
look, just look at his trajectory when he comes in.
I understand.
He came in. He failed to make league. He failed to make league half of the time. Dude, he did win. He did win. Once they took those players away, his last 2 seasons were ass. He couldn't win shit in the league. He went a whole season without winning a single. Some rubber ones, dude. He won 2 good ones, and then the other 3 were just de juguete.
He still won titles.
Big Veracruz don't even exist anymore.
He won titles.
Well, dude, if that's the case, then have Gago play some Copa de Chocolate just so they could tickle your ass and you could feel good.
Copa Chocolate. Every podcast you cry for Copa MX to return, and now it's Copa Chocolate.
Primero, no me desrespetes al pinche tiburón, ¿ok, güey? Que no te olvides lo que pasó esa noche en el Porto Jarocho. Motherfuckers will go down in history, so don't disrespect them. 2, Copa de Chocolate, güey, no mames. Todos queremos esa copa para atrás.
Look, I would understand that argument if what Zidane did winning those Champions Leagues for Real Madrid. Like, I get it. What anybody could have won those, right? With that kind of squad. But come on, dude. Like, Almeida did something that we hadn't seen before.
Yeah, because he had the players. Like, he had all those players, but once they got rid of them, he was lost. He couldn't do shit.
Yeah,
and the reason I say Copa, like, I'm not trying to disrespect the Copa MX, but the league disrespected it. The league and the teams wouldn't even take it serious. You were playing teams, second division teams were winning it, getting all the way to the final. Like, it wasn't a tournament being taken serious, and then you had the Super Copa between the Cup and the league champion, and that was also kind of like a throwaway. I don't even know if they're still even doing them. And that's what sucks about it, because if they should be taken more serious, it would be more reason to celebrate. But for whatever
Who had
reason,
a
the
bigger
club and
impact
teams.
on Chivas as a coach, Almeida or Buse?
Well, Almeida.
Okay, so end it. Over.
Yeah, I'm not sure what needs to change in order for Chivas to get back on the horse, but I think like they've gone through so many coaches that you have to look at it's the players.
I think right now, and Habibi was saying that he saw that the players look checked out.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then they lost faith in Gago. That's all. That falls on the coach.
It
Here's
can
my
be, but at the same
question.
time, kind of lose faith in yourself. For at the end of the day, the coach can like run the practices, do everything, but if you step out on the field and you're getting smoked back to back, like you by Cruz Azul, America, and like you start
Yeah.
losing faith in your Leon, you start losing faith in your abilities as well, because you realize that there were players who were doing like 1v1s, they were being like risky with the ball, and now it's like they receive it, they turn around and pass it back, like they don't want to get booed, they don't want to like look bad in front of the camera, like that confidence is just gone, and
You
that's
yeah. It's scar tissue, bro. These players have been here before. They've been hurt. They're like an abused, woman, man. They they know what's coming for them. So at that point, what you have to do is you have to replace them and put in players, young players. Like I would, if I was like running Chivas right now, I would send all those dudes to Tapatio and move all the Tapatio kids up to the first division because they're gonna come in there with energy, juiced. They're gonna go out there and they're not gonna be thinking about all the failures they had because they don't have any. This is their first division experience, and I think we would have better results.
Now, here's my thing, right? And as much as I hate to agree con el pinche esquizofrénico de Ricardo, he did bring up a point in the previous podcast of the mental midgetry that is Chivas and the fact that they always play the victim card when they face against America. So therefore, your team automatically expects to go into this game to lose. They go in with that mentality of being the underdog. Whether or not they might be favorites, they go in with that mental midgetry and they're bound to fail. It's that old adage of if you go in to not lose a game, you're not going to win it. You're more than likely going to lose. You have to change that mentality. So therefore, it is a problem that Chivas has internally. Now, the other thing is the question that I bring to the table is how much is it the Chichai effect that is happening? Because we all knew it's like, all right, cool. What effect is he going to have on in the locker room? What is it that's going to happen in the background? And one of the biggest things was like, yo, Chicha's mentality is completely different. And he can very easily shrug off a loss. So is that spilling over to the rest of the team to where it seems to have dulled whatever little bit of edge that Chivas had, which, let's be honest, for the longest time, Chivas has not had any type of edge to them. The biggest edge that they've had has been the fact that they're the Tamarindo boys.
Look, I'm just gonna go say it and say that in order for you to have an effect on a new club, a new organization in your work life, your professional life, you have to go in there and make a noise. You gotta start making it rain, and only then can you start to demand from everybody else. Right now, he has 0 goals, and I know that when they introduced him to the club and they did that whole grand, unveiling, all the players, had to speak nice of him and say, you're someone that I've looked up to but that's all ass kissing, right? I think if you're Chicharito, you got to go out there and make it rain, dude. You got to go out there, score goals, and then the rest of your team will follow and you'll earn that, that captain's armband. But as of right now, dude, he's the equal as everybody else on that team. And, I think as he starts to get more playing time, he's going to have to also carry some of that responsibility and some of that weight that is being, sent to the rest of the team.
dude. I'm gonna go ahead and call bullshit on that because one, they're Mexicans. Two, look at Cristiano Ronaldo, Manchester United. He did all the right things. Players even started changing his diets, and at the end, they all turned on him. If players want to change, it's like weight loss. You know the things you have to do. It's easy as far as like what you need to do, but the discipline to actually do it is the challenging part. And I don't think Chicharito scoring a bunch of goals or things like that is going to change a bunch of these players' attitudes. I think it just goes back to the same thing as before. You know, after you win the final, or you, especially after you lose the final, you got to take care of those players mentally. That you can bring them back in to perform at that level, and if not, you let them go and you bring in fresh blood that's going to be freshly motivated. And it looks like their time has run out. Like Lalo Torres has played what, like 100 games with Chivas. What has he done that's significant at Chivas? He's not even a role player. He's like the bench for a role player. Guys like that gotta go. Like adios. I love Pollo for a long time. I love his hustle, but it's like, you're kind of, it's time to go, my guy.
Boyo ain't going, dude. He's
Yeah,
Chivas. He's
he is
gonna
the model of the
he's
he is
gonna
the
re-
model of the kids.
he's gonna
That's true.
retire. He's gonna retire at Chivas. Real quick, 10 minutes into the Champions League game between Tigres and Orlando, Chelito Flowers, aka Marcelo Flores, redeemed himself and scored the go-ahead goal for Tigres. He had a huge miss against America over the weekend, but it looks like here in the Champions League against inferior opposition, he's found the back of the net. So congrats to him, and Tigres up right now 1-0, 15th minute in the Champions
Marcelo
League.
Flores, if you happen to listen to this, chinga tu madre, you cost me $400 for that miss. Hey, bro, he cost me $400 for that miss. Okay, chinga tu madre.
I love it. I love it. You degenerate gambler, man. For those new to Cantina MX, feel free to speak up. We want to hear from you guys over on Twitter Spaces and on YouTube. But yeah, I'm here for the for the shit talking. Abdias, big boy over here, talking shit. Hey, what happened to your Cruz Azul over the weekend? Lost 3-0 to Santos, man.
Mira, güey, como les he dicho cada pinche vez, a cada quien le sale un pedo mojado, pero más que nada, y se los dije esa misma noche, ustedes no entienden, la cosa es que Cruz Azul está participando en una obra pública en México para que gente con el biotipo de Nacho Ambriz se pueda quedar con una chamba. En otras palabras, para que los pinches indios puedan tener trabajos, güey.
No mames, güey.
Porque si no lo hubieran corrido. Por eso Cruz Azul dijo, ¿sabes qué, güey? Ya estoy aquí arriba, los voy a dejar que ganen.
Eres
Pinche...
un estúpido.
¿Qué, güey? Mi frijolito pinto necesita una chance. Si no, ¿qué, güey? Puros pinches argentinos, puros pinches extranjeros vienen. No, güey, por eso Cruz Azul es el equipo neta, el equipo más grande, porque dijo, ¿sabes qué, güey? Voy a perder 3 puntos para dárselos a esos pinches pobretones allá abajo.
Bro, you gotta stop inhaling the
Glue.
cement bags, dude. The quemos.
It's just the truth. Now, if you want to like break it down furthermore, honestly, I think Cruz Azul phoned it in. Like this team was unrecognizable to what we had been seeing previously in the season. Let's be honest. If you watch the Cruz Azul game, you're like, wait, ¿cómo chingados es que nos violaron esos vatos? Because that team was not connecting. It wasn't developing. It's unfortunately, I hate to say this, but it seems as if the formula is there of if you do a high press on Cruz Azul, they don't really know how to defend and counter that. Especially when pinche Dita keeps getting red cards and won't be coming back till almost the end of the season. So it's just that rotating line. Now, the other thing that I do want to point out is the fact that Cruz Azul has been consistently playing with 3 men on the back, and their goalie has been balling the fuck out. Right? Like, no mames, güey. A veces miro el partido y me digo, ¿qué pedo, güey? ¿Es Müller jugando? ¿O qué está pasando? ¿Quién chingados tiene Cruz Azul? Porque ese pinche portero sale del área, sale, presiona, güey. El juego este fin de semana, ese cabrón se echó una pinche barrida para despejar el balón. Like, no mames. Está jugando genial.
He's
Mier se me hace
Colombian?
que llama. Yes.
Kevin Mier.
Yup, and he's balling the fuck out. He's doing that thing that Jurado never did for me, which has made me feel safe.
Hey man, if there's one thing I can say about Liga MX is it's very bipolar. You know, one day you're looking like the contenders to win the title, the next day you get your shit pushed in. It's just that's a constant thing in Liga MX is the I guess the inconsistency within these and you know again it's one of the arguments of why this league is so competitive is because everyone's pretty much even keel, man. Like any given day, like somebody will beat somebody. Like you know, Juarez. I wouldn't be surprised if Juarez gets some upsets soon. Like it's just the nature of the beast.
Like I mean, I've been a big supporter of fucking Atlético over here of San Luis and metieron una pinche goliza la semana antepasada de 4-0. Esta última semana ganaron 1-0. Like, no mames, güey. Ahí van.
No, they lost to Necaxa, dude. 3-1.
Oh, did they? Fuck.
Yeah, dude.
I guess I should stop inhaling.
You gotta stop inhaling, dog. That shit's bad for you.
You know what, güey? No hay pedo. Like, it makes the edges go fuzzy and I feel good.
I'm gonna go over the results real quick. Match day 11 in Liga MX, Puebla 2-2 against Atlas. Just mentioned Necaxa beat San Luis 3-1. Juarez tied with Toluca. Juarez again haven't seen a victory yet this season. We talked about Chivas losing to León at home, and again how much of that leash is left on Gago. Santos beating Cruz Azul 3-0. Pachuca lost to Querétaro 2-1. And America beat Tigres 2-0. And speaking of Tigres, they just scored a second goal. Gignac makes it 2-0 against Orlando 20 minutes in. Pumas and Tijuana. This was actually a really entertaining game. Ended up 3-3. And again, Piojo, another coach that has yet to see victory this season. We talked about it in the chat. What an overrated coach. Mid as fuck. Too bad Joel's not here to counter argument that.
No, ¿sabes qué, cabrón? Yo estoy aquí para ese. Mira, cabrón, ¿sabes qué? Primero, shut the fuck up. All right? You keep... La otra semana estabas de que no, güey. Necaxa, que invicto y que quién sabe qué, que no ha perdido un juego. Y te dije, güey, ¿pero cuántos ha ganado? Y dices, no, güey, pero eso no importa, no ha perdido y que quién sabe qué. Ok, güey. Pero Miguel, ¿cuántos juegos lleva empatados? No son perdidos, son empatados, se lleva puntos, ¿verdad? Por lo menos está rescatando algo de una pinche temporada de la verga.
7 draws, dog. 7.
Motherfucker, that's 7 points. All right? And some teams break their arm jerking themselves off saying, no, güey, somos invictos, ¿verdad?
That's 16 in the league, bro. 16th. That's what that is. He's not even going to get into playing.
You know what that tells me? That tells me that there are 2 other teams that are doing worse than him.
Yeah, Puebla and Juarez. Juarez is in last place with 18 points. Puebla with 17. Tijuana, 16th position with 7 points. Mazatlan, San Luis, Atlas. Those are the worst teams in the league.
Sí, güey, pero no mames. Pinche Juárez se mató uno de sus jugadores. Like, también hay pedos ahí. ¿Verdad? It's not as clean and cut.
Excuses, man.
Hey, good evening, boys.
Hey, welcome to the show, man. Long time no hear.
Yeah, man. The super casual soccer fan has returned, but I just want to jump in with the Piojo slander. I have no dog in this race, right? He correct me if I'm wrong. Did he do okay with the national team, or was it like because the standards are almost like a Stockholm syndrome, right? Where we think like just 500 is like good. Did he do okay? Would you guys say he did okay for the national team?
I think at the, to give a little bit more context, this was at our like lowest point, so the team was not going to qualify to the World Cup. And
Okay.
Sorry, I hear an echo. I'm going to mute you real quick and then I'll let you speak. But So the team was like not going to qualify. They had to go into the play-in against New Zealand. They brought him in at the last minute, and he was doing so well with America that he used most of the America team for that playoff match. They were the last.
And Leon.
They were the last team to qualify to the World Cup, and from that, you went from having almost a catastrophic, one of the most embarrassing runs in a long time to having a very respectable performance in the World Cup. So I think people like to, associate his performance with the national team as like a really good one in recent history. But honestly, I still think he's a pretty mediocre coach.
Mid. But he was, correct me if I'm wrong, it was starting to devolve a little bit, no? There was some drama with his daughter, like trying to start some shit, no? There was like something going on or something like that.
The press was getting into his ass a little bit, and then his daughter, I think, was also involved. And
La Pioja. Right?
Yeah, and then he went to go like defend her honor. So I don't know what happened, but
all right, hold on. I'll bring in some clarity here from someone who isn't a fucking hater like Jaime is.
Let's hear it.
All right, just so that everybody knows what happens. Take. So here's the thing. First off and foremost, as y'all know, I fucking hate America. And that's what he was doing. That's where he was coaching. So when he came in, I wasn't a fan. Whatever, right? But here's what happened. Yes, we were right. Mexico was coming from a really, really bad downturn. It was looking back. The picture was framed, and it read fucked, right? We were going to miss the World Cup. It wasn't going to look good. He comes in with largely a American base and a Leon base put together, because Leon was like tearing shit up in Libertadores at that time. America's running the Liga, like it's going well. He comes in, turns it around. The biggest thing that I'll say that Miguel had, and it's the conversation that we were having in the private chat amongst ourselves, is that Miguel comes in. Miguel es un pinche entrenador canchero, güey. He comes in and he lights a fire under your ass, whether that means that he wants you to go out there and throw putazos or he wants you out there to score goals. Either way, he's lighting that same fire under you. And that's what we loved about Miguel Herrera. The other thing was his antics. The fact that when he was on the sideline, he was celebrating it like any other fan would up in the stage, up in the bleachers. Right? In fact, that's why there's that famous meme of him going Super Saiyan as the rain is pouring down, because of how into the games that he got. He would go out there, he would fight for his team. Now, the thing about that is that same attitude, when the Mexican press gets a hold of you, it becomes villainized, right? So they started going after him, especially the fact that Mexico started having bad games. So they started applying a lot of pressure on him. They started asking us to whether or not Piojo's hot head was the right form of management for the team. Then, which turns out it was all fake news, there was reports about Martinelli making comments and getting into it with Piojo's daughter.
Yes, you missed one thing.
¿Qué onda?
Because the press was...
Oh, we lost you, Joel.
And fans giving him credit, that just made Mexicans like him more.
Espérate, güey, dilo una vez más.
As you said, the fame got to him, and he was doing all type of commercials, and he does one he does a political one. I don't know if it's Green Party. I don't know what it was. I think it's the one where he has a parrot on his shoulder.
Partido Verde.
And that was kind of, at that point, the media just turns on him, and all of a sudden he doesn't know what he's doing. And you can see it at the Gold Cup, and to the point where you had one of the reporters saying that remember, they give Mexico a penalty and calling for Guardado to miss it.
Oh, I remember that.
Like on purpose.
Yep.
And so he got like super criticized the whole tournament, and I think it was like, in case they didn't win, now you could like sack him, and then they go on and they dominate they dominate Jamaica. I think they went 3-0 or something. And so now he's pretty much set, right? Because he has a good World Cup, one of the best in recent times for Mexico. Uh, and he has the Gold Cup now. And that's when he gets sacked out there, when the whole scuffle happens and it's not even over football, it's extra cancha. So I think he pissed off the wrong people
Say the right
with
name, way. Puro pinche chisme.
with the commercials he was making, probably commercials that were non-FMF related and doing political stuff. Because now you represent the national team, and so then if you're cutting promos for a political party, that just is gonna rub a lot of people the wrong way.
All
right, just for clarification, for those who aren't from Mexico, El Partido Verde is pretty much the fucking hippies. All right, they're the ones who always vote for more ecological programs. They're the ones who want more recycling. They're the ones who want more protections for the environment. That is El Partido Verde. For those of you who are not informed, they are honestly a weaker political party within Mexico, so therefore they're not really seen as a threat. The problem was that during that landscape, what was happening is that El Partido Verde had aligned themselves with El PRI, which is the major political party in Mexico at the time, and they were pushing chinga, güey, ¿quién era el presidente? El guapo que te... güey, el de la gaviota, que la vieja estaba bien buena. Todos saben, güey. La pinche gaviota. Ándale, Peña Nieto.
There you go.
Ese güey. So that's what was happening. That's where there was a scruffle. But now, to steer this conversation back to football, what ended up happening was there was all of these rumors going around about his daughter, about his family, about just the way Miguel Herrera conducts himself in general. And it was false news that had just kind of become this big thing that, según what's it called, Azteca Deportes, TV Azteca was going in on his family extra hard, especially Martinelli, and to the point to where they met each other at the airport. Piojo was, I believe, he was flying out or he was getting back into Mexico, but it was like one of those moments where like the press corral happens, they get all up in front of him, and there's words, y Piojo le dice, ¿qué cabrón? Te voy a partir la madre. Le mete un putazo en frente de todos, and everybody saw it, and that's why he got sacked. It wasn't results. It wasn't his style of play. It wasn't even the fact that he kept getting booted out of the game.
They baited him, and
they did.
And they fell, because I honestly felt like he was starting to lose, like the public image was not good, right? He and I feel like they were looking at any excuse to get rid of him, so they baited him, and it worked, and they got rid of him. And
but the problem is,
look, I'll give Piojo his flowers. I think he's good in small doses. I think he's great for knockout tournaments because he can rile up the players. He's a player's coach, right? I think a Mexican player just needs vibes, bro. I don't think he needs tactics. I don't think he needs, 2-a-days and being a hard ass. I honestly think to get the most out of players in Mexico is vibes, bro. Is like, you know what? Don't worry about this. Let's have fun. Let's go out there. Let's get drunk. It's like, I think that's what the player needs, and they'll respond because he's like one of the homies.
It's not just that, man. You need that mentality. Like I've said it before here, like one of the best coaches that I had would go to us before a game and be like, hey, I want you to earn me a hard yellow today. Like, I want you to make them know that this is our home. This is your turf. Like, you're going to defend it. Go get me a hard-earned yellow. And you know what, man? Eso te cambiaba el pinche chip, and you would go in there and you were like, fucking, el chip, carnal. O sabes qué, güey, todavía más mexicano. Te cambiaba el pinche totopo y ahí estabas para partirle la madre al vato.
That's interesting because I'm a big car nerd, right? If you drive a Mercedes, it's very much like efficient engineering. It's like a German, right? Very well put together. Same thing. Their team, right? Their coaching. It's very much regimented training. Maybe that's what Mexico needs. They just need one of the boys, one of these like you guys said, one of these vibe coaches. Maybe that is the key.
Absolutely, dude.
And yeah, all this tactician shit maybe doesn't go very far with the Mexican player. I don't know.
You need the guy that's gonna allow the debauchery and the fuckery, and then they'll get results that way, dude.
So look, since we're talking cars, let me put it this way. I drive a Subaru, right? It's a Japanese car. It is meant, thank you. It is meant to be very tamed. But if you know how to handle it, a Subaru will overperform, will give you your 4-wheel drive, it'll let you drift, it'll let you do everything that you can if you know how to handle it and how to push it to the limit. And that's what Piojo does the best. He is in there doing power slides with the e-brake, fucking yelling, "Órale, putos, agárrense," and telling you where the team is going to go.
When in doubt, flat out, man.
That's it. That's what Piojo does best. And he fucking pushes you and pushes you. Y sabes qué, güey, si tú no eres, vete a la verga de aquí que te voy a traer a alguien más. And that's what I want from my coach. That's what I would love about him. So therefore, it's a conversation that we had earlier in the year about how Chivas doesn't have a discipline problem. It has a Mexican problem. And that's what Mexico needs from its national coach. Somebody who has that Mexican problem of me gusta el desmadre, me gusta atacar, me gusta presionar, y sabes qué, güey, me gusta ser canchero y tirar vergazos. Entonces, ¿qué pedo?
Oh, man. Hey, we've had FC Gorditos patiently waiting for his turn to speak. I want to hear his thoughts on Piojo Herrera.
What's going on, guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah, welcome to the show.
What's up, guys? I'm still with the tactics, man. Piojo Herrera's tactics are just old and overrated already. He needs to get updated on the new tactics.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've mentioned it before that some of these training sessions are embarrassingly outdated. I know that was a remark that one of Tigres' players said under Tuca Ferretti.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm a Piojo. I like Piojo. I'm going to say that. I like Piojo. I know he's never going to be I'm not going to say never. Chivas, because he said he was never going to go to Chivas. But if he can get that motivational spirit plus tactical awareness, I'm sure he can be a perfect fit for Chivas or any team, obviously, in general.
Yeah, I remember during the World Cup run, there was that podcast like ESPN. It was like Men in Shorts or Men in Suits. One of those. They're like these English guys.
Blazers.
Men in yeah, they're like, I love this guy. This is the coach that England needs. Like they're just all over his enthusiasm and energy on the sidelines. And yeah, like I said, he's good in short bursts. He's a great temporary fix, but obviously like not a guy that's gonna last you very long before he starts blowing some rods, some pistons, some cylinders, dude. He's got a small fuse.
Yeah, como que se le acaba el gas muy rápido, you know?
Yeah, man. It's that short Barney Rumble temper, man.
He blows his load too fast. That's what happens.
Absolutely, man. That's exactly what it is. I want to go to YouTube real quick. Disco Fever, yeah. Is anyone going to talk about Ochoa and how he's about to break the 1,000 goals record? Yeah, that's a great question, Disco. He says, I want to hear Joel defend his favorite player, Ochoa. I think Joel's on daddy duty right now, but yeah, Ochoa is hasn't he already broken the record? Like
I'm here.
Oh, conceded over 1,000 goals.
Yeah, it sucks that he's getting it's very Mexican. The whole piñata, right? They give you a piñata of your favorite character, your favorite hero, and then you beat the shit out of it. It's kind of what we do with the soccer players. He's the most. He could be arguably the best goalkeeper Mexico has had, with a pretty good career, and he did what the fans are always asking for him to go to Europe. Obviously, he goes to small clubs, and
That's what I was
he's
going to
in,
ask you. Why does he keep going to small clubs? Why doesn't he go
to
with
be in
the?
Europe.
Because
Yeah,
he has the worst agent,
Just-
bro, in history.
That too, man.
or the
That
best
too.
agent because he's in Europe. How many of the other players want to go to Europe and they can't? And Ochoa, for some reason, he's 39, almost 40, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
and
I
I think
think I don't know, dude. He's a terrible agent because any agent with half a brain would be able, just on marketing alone, would be able to get him into a bigger club
well,
in Europe.
did he
Well, for
even
the
get
record,
I knew because he was in France, and I knew he was very close to getting the French
The
citizenship.
citizenship, right? His
Yeah,
national
and he
card or
even
something.
speaks it well, and but then he leaves to Spain, which to me was a mistake. Just stay there and get, you know, and you could have probably ended up in one of their bigger clubs. Um, and
Even he would have done good like in a mid tier club. I know what was Malaga, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
he got body
but
though.
the coaching. One of the coaches there was, I think, Cameroonian, and the other player he was competing with was Cameroonian. It's like I, it sort of just didn't look well going in when the goalkeeper coach is and most likely to favor his countrymen. Not saying he did that, but I wouldn't go work under those odds.
Yeah, he made the
I rem-
mistake. Go ahead.
I was going to ask. I remember ESPN saying something when he was in Malaga that he had some kind of eye issues. Was that even a real
I don't
like
believe it.
diagnosis or something like that?
I don't
I
believe
never
that.
heard anything
No,
about
right?
it.
Nah.
Yeah, I remember. Was it? I think it was Football Picante or Jorge Ramos. One of those two said something. Oh yeah, he has some kind of vision problem. He's trying to take care of it. Something within those lines. And then I was like, man, that sounds like pretty bullshit. But could have
I
never
don't know.
confirmed.
This guy has a clean sheet at the World Cup against Brazil in Brazil.
Yeah,
Hey,
no,
any
look,
Mexican should be buying this guy a beer anytime he walked into a bar.
no one's denying
But they forget so quick.
look, what he's done in the World Cup is insane, right? He's had some crazy performances. That's the only time he shows up really is in the World Cup.
That's all I need, dude.
Even in
for the next
even
2
in this
years.
last one, he saved a penalty kick. I mean, it's like a guarantee he's gonna have one big moment every World Cup, and good for him. And I get it, man. It's easy to shit on him. It's easy to be like, this guy's trash. And if anything, dude, it's keeping him, it's keeping him busy. If he was to play for a big club, he's not gonna have that many, saves per game. But you play for a shitty club, dude, you're gonna be busy. They're gonna be testing your reflexes every possession almost. So, he might be one of the most scored, goalies, but that just means that he's been busy. Disco Fever says Jorge Campos was the best. I think for his height, yeah, he was pretty good. But I don't think he had as near of a great career as Ochoa. I mean, for the national team at least. But he's over there in Italy, man. Why don't we have any other goalkeepers in Europe? That's my question.
because what other goalkeepers do we have get the type of mame that he does?
Yeah, you're right. You have to have the looks, right? Not just the skills.
Como he dicho, güey, no te puedes ver como un pinche indio. ¿Verdad?
So you're saying Malagón is not going to go to Europe at all?
I don't think so. And if he does, he's not going to have the longevity that Memo had. Like, honestly, we might be talking shit about his agent, but let's be honest. With the record that Memo has, with everything else that he has going for him, the fact that he's consistently getting called back to Europe is impressive. All right, because most of his teams have been relegated back to second division.
Yeah.
He has already broken the 1,000 goal mark. He is the most goleado goalie in most of the leagues that he's played in. Like, there's a big trade off between, and you know what? Someone mentioned this earlier, is like his resume versus the image of him, right? Because the image, we're all like, no, güey, pinche vato mamalón, que quién sabe qué, y esto y el otro. Pero luego empiezas a ver los números y dices, espérate, güey, ¿cómo es que este pinche anciano todavía está jugando? Decimos que es el líder, decimos todo esto, pero cuando le ves los números, güey, Acevedo tiene mejores números esta temporada en la liga. Like,
Yeah.
no mames.
His team's in last place, and they will most likely get relegated this season.
And like, here's my thing, bro. And I'm always someone who's willing to defend the goalie, right? As hey, you can't judge the goalie by the numbers alone. If anything, you have to take a look at the defense. You have to look at a couple other things. Pero güey, llevan 4 equipos. En el único equipo donde tuviste éxito y donde fuiste constante, fue en el pinche AME de donde saliste de la cantera. Entonces, no mames, güey.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think when he retires and we look back 10, 20 years from now, people will say, oh, yeah, he was like one of our best players of all time. I think it's just like right now he's still active and he's kind of like on the wrong side of 30. He's almost 40, dude. So I think like right now the appreciation isn't there. But you know, you ask any kid, man, like especially like the younger generations, like he's one of the favorites. He's one of the fan favorites for the national team.
Sí, güey, pero a la misma vez, who else did they see growing up? Like, these kids out here didn't see fucking Jorge Campos. They didn't
No.
see, chingado, el de Santos.
Acevedo?
Shit. No. Old head from Santos.
You mean he was with Chivas, Osvaldo Sánchez?
Ándale, estos niños no se recuerdan de Osvaldo.
Ni
Like,
Adolfo Rios, you know?
exactly, way. Those names don't even fucking ring a bell right now.
They're
If you
like,
tell
who
them,
the hell's that?
hey, tell me about Talavera and tell me about Chuy Corona. It's like, ¿quién? No mames, güey. Por cierto punto, Corona, en un punto en la historia, Corona era mejor que Ochoa. En otro punto, Talavera era mejor que Ochoa, pero ¿qué fue lo que pasó? El mame. De que, juegan en la América. No, pues es nuestro portero extranjero. Y quién sabe qué otras mamadas que le tapó a esos otros dos güeyes.
Emilio, bro. Emilio made the call. He's like, hey, get my boy in there.
That's it. Right? It's just that it's the same thing as like with Chicote.
We have Johnny Rico wants to join in on the conversation. Johnny, welcome to the show. Your thoughts on Ochoa breaking the record of 1,000 goals conceded?
You know that this is the issue that made me want to request the mic. I gotta
Let's
step
hear
in
it.
and defend my boy Ochoa. You know, and this is a fight that I've had on Twitter ever since 2014. I remember having Corona versus Ochoa fights on Twitter. And no, yeah, Ochoa surpassed the 1,000 goals received, but do you know why he received so many? Because he's been there for more than 20-year career. Like, if you're not good enough to be there, then you'll never receive 1,000. I have less goals conceded than Ochoa. Does that make me better than Ochoa?
Short answer is yes.
No, I've never been good enough to even be there. Ochoa has been there for 20 years. He's been in leagues where he shut down Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Someone just said that Acevedo has better numbers this season. Well, of course he has better numbers when he's facing off against JJ Macias, where when Ochoa is facing Milan, Inter, Roma, Juventus. That's who Ochoa's facing week in and week out, and of course those numbers are going to look bad, but he's been good enough to just be there for 20 years.
Yeah, didn't he break the most goals conceded in La Liga?
Yeah, you're in a league where you have Real, Atletico, Barcelona. Like that's of course he's always played for smaller teams, but those smaller team fans love him because those fans of the smaller clubs, the Ajaccio fans, what I don't even know how to pronounce his current club's name. Those fans love Ochoa because they realize they have a shit defense and that Ochoa is the best thing to happen to their small little ass club.
Yeah.
Like go like we're talking. You guys are talking shit about Ochoa here. Go interview an Ajaccio fan. See what they think of Ochoa.
Who?
Ajaccio in France.
Axio, no?
Yeah, one of those. Yeah, that French. Ask one of their fans what they think of Ochoa. Like ask because he received like what 500 goals defending that team. Ask them what they think of those 500 goals conceded by Ochoa.
I remember there was when they were talking about him leaving because they couldn't afford his contract. There was like a guy who was like willing to sell his house just to afford to keep Ochoa, but he didn't want to stay in the second division. But they loved him out there in France for sure.
Yeah, and they love him in Italy. Those fans recognize that they just have a shitty team, a shitty defense, and that Ochoa is really the best thing that ever happened to their club.
But even like, people that don't follow the Mexican league closely, they always ask like, "Hey, like why didn't Ochoa ever play for like a big club?" Cuz like, they only see him every 4 years in the World Cup and he has an incredible performance. And they've always wondered like what stopped him from like, landing at a big club.
You know
I
what?
think
I don't know if this is
he
by
tried to
design,
avoid, and he even
but
got
it's
sucked into
genius.
this. He wanted to avoid being the backup goalkeeper because if you're the backup striker for a team, you eat bench as a striker. You'll get some minutes here, some minutes there. But if you're the backup, if you're the bench as a goalkeeper, that's just deadly for a career. And he unfortunately Ochoa got sucked into this a little bit in Spain. There was a coach that had him riding the bench, and so I think that was a calculated risk. I'm gonna for sure be a starter in a small team instead of risking bench at a big team.
Tommy, you had something to say.
No, I think if I'm him, right, and I have this image, I'm Mr. Big Balls. I show up on the big scene, right? On the World Cup every 4 years, I show up, and if I want to preserve my image, right, it's not a bad move to go to these big leagues and maybe hover
But yeah,
for a
that's
lower
my two
team.
cents on Ochoa.
Yeah, but
Somebody
maybe
had to come in and defend
hover around like one of the
El Chino.
lower teams, and still maintain the reputation that hey, I'm still playing in La Ligue or uh, La Liga or in Italy, but there's less responsibility because you're kind of hovering in the background. You still get paid. You're still playing abroad. So I don't know if it was done tactfully by design, but it is interesting that he's never played at a Barcelona or even like a Atletico Madrid or something like that.
Yeah, I know the closest he got was it PSG or Liverpool?
To PSG, no?
And he got flagged for Clenbuterol, and that's why the deal fell through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
So are we? So
Sorry,
are
go
we
ahead.
going to see Ochoa? Are we going to see Ochoa for the 2026 then? Is that what we're saying?
Someone's gonna have to step up and take away his throne, but as of right now, no one is stepping up, so it's his for the taking.
Number 6. He's going to be the only player with 6 World Cups, isn't he?
That's right. I think at worst he'll make the bench. At worst,
Yeah, because right now Malagon's the only one that could compete against him, and we still have a ways to go before the 2026 World Cup, and Malagon could make a play for that starting role, but like you
But
said, at worst he'll be number two.
other than Malagon, we just have what is it? Okay, so Ochoa 1, Malagon 2, Acevedo 3.
I don't think Acevedo is in the. Let me take a look at the list, right? Because didn't Jimmy
I think the Cholos goalkeeper, what's his name?
was it
The,
Toño?
yeah, Toño, the former
Toño
Chivas.
Rodriguez. See, that's what I don't understand. What's going on, Toño?
I don't know, dude. I mean, I know Cota as well has been called up before.
Yeah, because I was gonna say Cota number 4. Toño Rodriguez is not even in. I wouldn't say in the, but he's on the list. I'm gonna say the FC Gorditos list. He's not in the FC Gorditos list.
Yeah, no, Toño's kind of had his in with the current national team coaching staff. He's had some good, decent performance with Tijuana, but unfortunately, Tijuana's results are not gonna they're not highlighted. But but yeah, Toño's like the only saving grace that Tijuana have.
Yeah, trying to find if has he made his list of 23 players that are gonna go.
I haven't seen any. I know they had this list of 60, but I don't know. I can't remember if he was in that list
I
or not.
I can't
Oh,
remember if there's an official list or just rumors because I heard that Jonathan Dos Santos got chopped.
let's see. Toño Rodriguez, Angel Malegon, and Guillermo Ochoa are the goalkeepers. Julián Araujo, Jorge Sánchez, César Montes, Israel Reyes, Johan Vázquez, Jesús Angulo, Jesús Gallardo, Gerardo Arteaga, Edson Alvarez, Eric Sánchez, Luis Chávez, Luis Romo, Marcel Ruiz, Orbelín Pineda, Uriel Antuna, Julián Quiñones, Sebastián Córdoba, Roberto Alvarado, Irving Lozano, César Huerta, Santiago Jimenez, Henry Martín, and Raúl Jimenez.
I thought Raúl was. I heard or I read that Raúl is out.
I'm not sure. I'm just going off of the official
The current
website.
list. Gotcha.
This is the official website, and it says Cuartos Liga de Nacionales de CONCACAF. So this is for the semis. Yep.
Isn't that on the 21st?
It's coming up. Yeah, it's coming up on the 21st against Panama.
March.
They've been talking shit.
Nice.
Pero neta, chavos, vamos a ser honestos. Primero, deberíamos tener a un pinche inválido. Y segundo, deberíamos tener a un anciano.
Who's the anciano?
Ochoa.
¿Y el inválido?
Güey, no mames, ya sabes quién.
I'm just trying to read. A ver quién.
Raúl Jiménez.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. It's just, to me, it's a big slap in the face to anyone that is trying to compete for these positions, right? Because if you're a young goalkeeper in Liga MX, dude, like, what more motivation do you need? Like, all you got to do is body out this 38-year-old.
But which young goalkeeper stepping up?
There's a couple
That's
of young
exactly
ones.
what I was going to say, Johnny. We haven't had a. Malagon is the only one. Malagon and Acevedo, Mexican goalkeepers. After that, there's no real names or youngsters que digas, carajo, este va a ser el nuevo. Before, it was like Mexico hacía produce goalkeepers left and right.
Yeah. And back to the earlier conversation about Ochoa, I remember seeing Adolfo Rios. I remember seeing Campos. I remember seeing Osvaldo, Corona, Talavera.
Gabuto.
Yeah, Edeway. I think that was his first name.
Edeway. Pero también, güey, ¿cuántos años tienes? No mames, ya también estás llegando a la edad de anciano. ¿Verdad? Si te acuerdas todos esos, no mames.
I'm actually Ochoa's age. We're both born in 85.
Oh,
pues ves, güey, te dije, no mames, hasta estás más viejo que yo.
And we're so yeah, Ochoa and me, we're both 38, by the way.
Damn.
Yeah, Ochoa won't be 39 until July. So no le agreguen un año de más.
So he's going to be 40 coming into the World Cup? Oh, jeez, bro.
Yeah.
Wait, Buffon se retiró a
Damn,
los
bro.
41 or 42, so he got it.
El Conejo Perez played until 42.
Yeah,
Look.
I know the goalkeeper position you can play into your 40s. That's fine, but I mean, it's pretty embarrassing that the national team can't produce any, heir to the throne.
Look, here's my question. If he does make it to the next World Cup, will he have somebody on the staff to pre-chew his food? Because let's be honest, man, at 40, the dentures start going out.
I'm just worried if we have a night game in the World Cup because it'll be past his curfew.
Oof, the early birds hit so fucking hard.
He's gonna.
You know,
he needs
if
his
I'm not mi-
metamucil.
If I'm not mistaken, Jimmy Lozano and Ochoa kind of was the same generation.
Nah, not really.
No,
I think Jimmy was a little bit before him, no?
like
Because he's
Jimmy must
45.
okay.
Nah, Jimmy's a little bit before him. He was supposed to go to the 2006 World Cup, and he didn't. And I remember him being on the cover of the World Cup game, and he didn't go. How embarrassing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean we've talked about Ochoa before. It's like, it's fine. It's like I can't blame him. No one else is doing what he's doing. No one else is in Europe, so it's like unless you take it from me, what do you want to do? Like
There was an interview with recently retired Jonathan Orozco, who he said that after Ochoa left Ajaccio, that they wanted to get him, but he said, "Nah, keep me in Mexico."
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Jonathan Orozco was supposed to be Ochoa's replacement in France, and he said, "Nah, keep me in Monterrey."
Yeah, I mean, that's not the first player that's gotten an offer. Goalkeeper. I know Osvaldo mentioned that too. That he said it was like gonna be a pay reduction if he went, so he said no.
It's not just the pay reduction, man. It's the fact that they don't have fucking tortillerias. Like, let's be honest, guys. As children of diaspora, how much do you miss going for un kilo de tortillas?
And nobody gives Ochoa props for that. Like, you know how many millions he'd be making at America right now? He'd be like their marquee player.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I mean, I think Ochoa has won a lot of money in his career, and I think at that point, it's like he knows he knows what's more valuable, right? A 6 World Cup.
He's the most, like, probably the most amount of money he's ever gotten is from State Farm commercials, because these small ass clubs are not paying him big checks.
He's currently sponsoring the squad.
Del pueblo. Is this not the issue?
That's what
that we're here talking about a 40-year-old goalkeeper as our best choice.
Commercials.
That's what I'm saying, Tommy. Yeah. This is a problem, bro. This dude's pushing 40, and we can't dethrone him. We can't bench him.
He's great. I mean, he's obviously no one has ever done what he has done. But
is it really a problem when he that?
Yes, it's a problem, dude. Well? It's a problem because if our best option is a 40-year-old man who soon va a estar utilizando,
I understand you guys are like looking into the future, like maybe even past the World Cup 2026. What's going to happen?
Yeah, I mean,
but yeah, at the moment, I think we're good and taken care of.
I just think like it's a big issue, right? Because it's like in the last 24 years, you haven't been able to produce another goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Like, we were the second oldest squad in the World Cup, bro. It's like we don't have a future.
Do you guys think there's a level of gatekeeping that goes on at the national level?
100%.
Yes.
100%, dude. Are you kidding me?
You know what's our future? Naturalizados is our future.
Give me 11 Quiñones.
Didn't the ¿cómo se llama el presidente? I don't even know what to call him. The guy that takes out of the federación. Then he say que naturalizados is the way to go, or that's the plan to go with.
Yeah. How do you think France won their World Cups?
Little African player, bro.
Yeah.
We need to send our Mexicans to Africa, man. Start producing.
No, but like, yeah, I think naturalizados, slap a Mexican passport on Thiago Volpi. He's not playing for Brazil anytime soon.
Volpe would be great, man. He actually has something to offer that we don't have, and that is a goalkeeper who is really good at taking penalties and really good on his feet.
Isn't he a sweeper keeper too?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he is. He is right. Sweeper keeper.
Yeah,
We don't have one
we
like
don't
that.
have that.
No, we don't have it.
That's what I'm saying. Naturalizados is the way to go. Even for my most hated rivals, Chivas. If you guys want to be better, get naturalizados. They're just as Mexican.
What? Why do you think we got Cal, bro?
No, but think about like a guy like Quiñones, Funes Mori, like that type caliber players. I think Chivas
We'll see it. You know, they've been slowly starting to, you know, pass through the boundaries. Oh, you know, it has to be.
You'll
to be
see it more
Mexicans.
with the Haitians and the Africans community in Tijuana and all these like communities of.
Did I hear a rumor correct that the Manchester City owner wants to buy out Chivas?
I don't believe it.
No,
it would never happen.
It's like the Carlos Slim rumor that he wants to buy Chivas, but Emi doesn't want to let him.
I don't know.
Nah, bro. OmniLife would fold.
If you're a Maori, would you turn down 1.2 billion?
Who's gonna give him 1.2 billion? No one's gonna give him that.
Come on, bro.
That's the number that was attached to the rumor.
I did not hear that. Where did this come from?
I read it on Twitter somewhere, but it said 1.2 mil millones de dólares, US dollars.
I don't believe it, dude.
Well, you think a Maori would turn down a number
like that? What, 1.2 billion? No, my dear good sir. You're messing up the translation right there.
Mil millones. 1 mil millón is a billion.
Sir, you're talking about NFL franchise money. There's no way that Chivas is worth anywhere near that.
Those Arabs don't care about actual value. They just want to spend.
Hold on.
They got that extra cash, bro. They got that.
There's no way. I know they got those natural fucking gas rights.
Let me play this sound clip. Well, there you go, folks. Off of a random TikTok.
Bro, that's almost the ChatGPT Mexican version no está funcionando bien, bro.
It's got 50,000 likes on TikTok, bro. Delete TikTok. It's bad for you.
I don't
have TikTok. I don't want my information with the Chinese part.
And I have another credible source. Joel will like this. El Futbolero USA. Hector Garcia. He put a little article in there. That's interesting. That is very interesting. Imagine Chivas getting bought out by Man City. Oh my God. I would be conflicted as fuck.
You know what, man? I'm gonna be honest. I would absolutely love to see that happen, just to see the meltdown on the Chiva hermanos when they throw out all of their, like, what is it, estatutos that they cling on to, and it will just be a beautiful thing.
Yeah. The first extranjero is gonna be someone from the Middle East.
Bro, you imagine we get bought by Man City? Oh my God. We'd have Holland. We'd have no, I'm just kidding. Nah, that shit would be bonkers. And I don't know, I know that Man City Group has bought in various clubs within all over the world. In Brazil, they have a team here in the MLS. Do they honor like the heritage of the club, or do they like force them to change their colors, their badge, all that stuff?
They make NYCFC play out of Yankee Stadium. What do you think?
They're working on their state on a proprietary stadium, no?
They've been working on that since they bought the club.
I remember like I saw something like they're building something in Staten Island or some shit. I don't know where, but
Jaime, there's a post from 2 years ago at on Reddit that says the exact same thing. Man City trying to invest in Chivas.
yeah.
I'm about to say, well, if you look closely at the article, it states that it's from early last year, like Q1 last year.
But
So
what's interesting is the rumor, the video clip I played off of TikTok that was uploaded yesterday. So I don't know if this is just like resurfacing or whatever. But yeah, I call cap, dude. Like, there's no way Man City would buy Chivas.
there's no way. It's a fucking waste of money, which I get it. They have money to piss away, but come on, man. Go buy yourself a fucking Bugatti instead.
I will say I would like to see Man City invest in Liga MX, maybe a different team, maybe bring one back from the dead. I know there was a rumor like that Red Bull wanted to do something, a couple years ago, and I was like, dude, Toros Neza would have been a perfect club to resuscitate back to life. But yeah, we'll see, man. I think like foreign investment isn't encouraged in Mexico because it's a whole different beast out here.
Yes, I do believe foreign investment is one of those things that I genuinely believe La Liga needs. It's gonna be it'd be beautiful whenever that happens. Now, one of the things that I do want to bring up since we're having this conversation is there hasn't been much movement about the expansion of Liga MX because if you guys remember, ultimately we were trying to work our way up to a 23 team league or 20 team league. Do you guys remember exactly the number that it was?
I don't remember that, but I do think it's weird that we don't have 20 clubs in the first division.
They're trying to follow the MLS model.
No, mames, wait.
think it's
MLS has
23.
like 32 or some shit like that. Or the ultimate MLS model is going to have 32 teams.
You know what, boys? I got 1 year left of talking shit about MLS because next year San Diego has a team, and I'm gonna be all about San Diego.
You're not, Wade. I'm going to be honest with you. You're going to be all about getting drunk at the stadium and taking part in mob mentality.
Dude, they already have.
Other than that, the game you don't give a fuck about.
They already have a team in San Diego, the Loyal.
Nope, the Loyal is gone. They folded after MLS came to town.
Wow, that is sad, man. They had a huge following.
Yeah, no, they like about a month after the San Diego expansion team was announced, San Diego Loyal folded. Said this is going to be our last season.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went last year to cover Manchester United versus Wrexham, and I went to the Snapdragon Stadium. It was nice. It's a nice stadium. I don't know if that's where they plan on having.
Yeah, that's the stadium.
Oh, okay. I know that's where the Women's Gold Cup was. Yeah. Real quick update: Tigres 2-1 against Orlando. This is not over, folks.
Vamos Orlando.
I don't know if they do the away goal rule in this.
They do.
Oh, yeah. So Orlando's 1 goal away from turning this game upside down. They would get through on the away goal. It's 2-1, 54th minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, this is Vamos Orlando. I've always been an Orlando fan since I was desde la cuna.
Since Kaká was there,
I'll be honest, guys. This home and away leg is literally what was missing from the League's Cup.
I agree.
This certain extra flavor, this je ne sais quoi that you get from an away and home game. Ya sé, ¿verdad, güey?
The word of the day, je ne sais quoi.
Especially the fact that, like,
did your boyfriend teach you that word? What's going on over here?
No, way. Era mi ruca. She speaks French. I speak to her in Spanish, and she shoots back to me in French. So, la pendeja is not my fault. So the thing is, just seeing the fans, the stadiums, just seeing that portion of it. And otra vez, wait, I hate to fucking side with a schizophrenic asshole, but Ricardo is right. Like, we got it. CONCACAF for Leagues Cup, and Leagues Cup is an inferior product. It's literally the hype of the Mexican fan that's keeping it away, and it's that fan that misses a hint of home, and that's why Leagues Cup is worth it. Like, I'll be honest, I dick rode it, and I enjoy it.
You are?
It was, huh? Either way, I did the same thing that 3 men did to Chivas unwillingly.
Oh my.
All right. Actually, it wasn't 3 men; it was 33 men. But nonetheless, you enjoyed it. So sabemos lo que eres. So that's the thing. It was one of those things that it was supposed to become a better show than what it was, and it's just missing that away that having games in Mexico. You know, when it was proposed to the figureheads that be, and it says like, all right, cool. This year you did it in the U.S. Would you be willing to do it on Mexico? And they're like, no, fuck that. Then when they brought it up and they're like, hey, would you be willing to do a home and an away? And they're like, no, because we're not competing against Champions League. So therefore, the fuck.
Can I bring a conspiracy theory here? No sé, you guys know Rafa Ramos, right?
Yeah.
He keeps saying something about, remember the whole FIFA scandal, whatever, ningún Mexicano got served any things.
Yeah.
Do you guys really think U.S. soccer has all the power because of that? Because, like Abdias said, no quieren jugar en Mexico, no quieren double games, home and away. It seems very one-sided.
I remember that conspiracy. He said that the FBI investigation turned up like documents from FIFA Gate that implicate the Mexican officials, and that it was the FBI, kind of like on behalf of U.S. soccer, that went and told Mexico, like, "Hey, forget about South America. You're CONCACAF bitch now."
Yeah, because for some reason, no quieren.
Yeah.
Like, they're not giving Mexico como power to say, hey, let's play here, or hey, let me do this, or hey, let me do that.
I don't buy it.
You don't buy it?
I don't buy it. No. There was
maybe,
already.
but I don't know. I don't know how deep
Well,
that
yeah, I
would
mean,
run.
because we always say, "Oh,
like
look,
if Mexico
Mexico's so
doesn't play
corrupt."
ball, all of a sudden the FBI starts filing charges.
Yeah, but see, even then, like,
there's a lot of
how bad
corruption
are you
in
gonna
Mexico,
look?
pero no
Like,
encontraron ningún Mexican culpable.
Exactly. But how long can you hold that card over the Mexicans?
Yeah, it's plausible.
Do you know what I mean?
When are we going to get out of that? That's the thing. When are we going to get out of that? ¿Cuándo vamos a hacer improve?
They're going to look bad. They're all going to. Yeah, but they're all going to look bad if that's the case. After, let's say, 10 years, you're like, F it, I'm not doing it anymore. They're like, okay, we're going to turn it in. And now, like, dude, you were blackmailing.
You know, I don't know how serious of a threat it is. That's what I'm saying.
I'll tell you guys why I don't buy it.
Like, let's say Mexico starts playing Copa Libertadores next year. Is the FBI really going to follow up on his threat and file charges?
Are you guys saying there's blackmail? Is that what you guys are saying?
That's what
that's what we're saying, sir. That's we're implicating.
I don't buy it.
Are you telling me that this is our humiliation as part of our initiation?
No, gentlemen, I'll tell you why I don't buy it. I'll tell you why I don't buy it. It's just very unlikely.
But that is a conspiracy theory that Rafa Ramos threw out there.
I know he did, but just looking at the history of CONCACAF, right? Mexico messed up. They lost control because they had, for a long time, they had control of CONCACAF. They helped build CONCACAF.
What do you think,
the confederation. Hello?
No, we can hear you.
We hear you.
Keep going.
Okay. This is what do you think?
No, I'm asking Jaime, what do you think? Is that?
I know, but I'm not even done. I'm not even done with my point, and you're already. It's like just really quick. Mex loses control of CONCACAF. They figured it out because the whole thing was like through votes. So as long as you had that's where FIFA messed up, right? As long as you were within FIFA, your vote counted. So you could be Suriname, your vote counts the same as England. Didn't matter if you didn't have a league. And so that's kind of how Joe Avalanche takes over FIFA because he goes over to all these small nations and starts handing out the envelopes. And now he rules over FIFA, and that was like all corrupt. And so then kind of over here we had Chuck Blazer, right? Chuck Blazer wasn't even into soccer, but he figured that shit out. And there's a really good article on that, the Mr. 10%.
There's
called,
a documentary too, Joel.
Okay, good. So this dude then gets Chuck Blazer gets Jack Warner, right? And Trinidad, and then they pretty much take over the whole CONCACAF.
The whole region, yeah.
And they had control for a long time, and since that time, Mexico had already had to pay the higher price, and they had to like if they're gonna go compete when they wanted to go compete in CONMEBOL, they had to go convince those guys because they needed the blessing. And for a lot of things, for when you started seeing Mex doing bad at Copa America, because they were like, all right, you can't take your starters, or you need to, or take your under 23, take with 3 players. So they started doing that stuff, and yeah, they did have Mexico right there. And so how is Mexico going to get implicated at this point if they have like that much pull, like in the region?
I honestly,
right? So the pool was with those other guys, and the guy that took over. Remember once, and they were already way before the FIFA gate. There was already an investigative journalist that was like exposing a lot of the stuff. I forget the name. I'll bring it back. He has a book. It's called How They Stole the Game.
Yeah.
He talks about all that stuff. And once finally, because these dudes, Chuck Blazer dies, right? He fucking dies. And then Jack Warner, I think, because in my opinion, I think Chuck Blazer was the mastermind. Jack Warner was kind of like his puppet. And this dude ends up, I think he I don't know how he lost power, but the other dude takes over. I forgot the name that took over.
The guy from Canada, right?
He was a black dude. I don't know if he was from Canada. I think he was from Jamaica or something like that. He wasn't there long because then once the FIFA whole gate thing, he got implicated right away.
I honestly think it's not that deep. It just comes down to where can we generate the most amount of money, and that is here in the States, and that's basically going to be every argument.
True.
In this region.
But I'm saying like those people having control over the region, that just kept Mexico safe. Because I do think whoever was up there would have probably like been in on some of that shit. It's like everybody was,
like for the greater good of the sport. I agree that Leagues Cup should be just like the Champions League, where it's home and away, and it's sprinkled out throughout the regular season instead of taking 1 month off to get it, to get it going. But monetarily,
is that the Apple Cup?
I'm just thinking like monetarily, logistically, it just makes more sense and more money to just, have it here in the States. And I think that's like the argument that they're.
Yeah, the Pachuca person even said, though, he even said it in Picante. He says how, it doesn't benefit. They say the cup doesn't benefit us in anything.
Yeah.
He's like, I know that everything's stacked against us, but he said we're betting on the long. Yeah. They're betting on the long game now, so they're really
basically trying to turn this. They're trying to build it so eventually we invite CONMEBOL. Is that what it is?
I don't really know, but I mean that dude. I figure he knows a thing or two about business. Saying what he's done at Pachuca. So
yeah,
I'm like, and so I was like, okay, I could trust you, but he's not going to explain it to us. He's not going to explain what they're betting for exactly. We could just guess at this point.
Disco Fever, yeah, says the answer is simple: leave CONCACAF. Australia left to Asia. You really think we can leave CONCACAF? Fuck no, dude.
Yeah, but Australia was special case.
They won't let it. They won't let it happen.
There's
Yeah,
no
Australia
way.
was special case because all the other countries around them, they don't really have leagues, and they would win all their games like 12-0, 20-0. So then it made sense for them. And I think Israel is also part. Am I wrong? It
Now
might be
here's
in UEFA. I'm not sure.
here's the
But
other thing.
FIFA makes very few exceptions. Mex has no like they don't have any real.
Have you guys seen
And this
Next Goal Wins about American Samoa?
no.
Oh,
No, not yet.
it's a good
Pero-
watch. But yeah, it's like Australia was just dominating that region, and American Samoa was. I think they have like the worst concede. I think they conceded over like 30 goals against Australia. Yeah,
Damn.
so I'm pretty sure they use that as evidence to be like, yo, we need to get the fuck out of this region.
Pero like, espérate, wait. Where would we go?
Comebol, dude.
Right? Sí, güey, pero no mames. Could we really hang in Comebol?
Yes.
No. It's gonna be a fucking piece of humble pie, and Mexico's gonna have
It
to
would
learn
be
their
a
place in the
gradual
world.
increase. Yo digo, vamos a comenzar like a mid-table, and then gradually get used to the competition and be in those top spots.
Sí, güey, pero dile a México que te estás a punto de irte de pinche primera clase a ser un equipo ni de medio pelo, güey, de tercer pelo.
Bro, let's not
Yo
get
no dije que
let's
los
not get
iban a
carried
dejar
away.
o que se iban a ir. They're not gonna leave, obviously.
They're not gonna leave,
But-
but come on, dude. We're a step above the fucking Ecuadors and the Venezuelas and the Bolivias and come on, dude.
Yeah, meaning we're gonna be competing with fucking Peru. Like that's gonna be our new competition because we're not competing against Chile, we're not competing against Brazil,
Bro,
we're not
Chile's
competing
ass
against
right
Argentina.
now. Vidal's not there anymore, dude. All those dudes retired. Like, they're
Yeah,
all washed up.
Chile's golden generation is gone. Yeah, no, they're not the same Chile that we used to know.
They're not the
Y tampoco la de
7-0.
México, güey.
I think if we were to move to Comebol, holy shit, dude. It'd be a really good wake up call for them. But it's never gonna happen. So why entertain it?
No.
Because
Hey,
we entertain the
it's good to
conversation of
imagine-
going back to Libertadores every fucking week.
Es como dice Chicharito, hay que imaginarnos cosas chingonas.
But one more thing to add at the whole CONMEBOL. They don't all want us there.
They what?
So not all the countries in CONMEBOL want Mexico to be there.
No.
So they would have to vote on it.
That's one.
And
That's
that was
one
a
less
big-
spot.
They're scared.
That was yes. Well, and who knows now that with the FIFA going up in number with World Cup tickets might be a bit
64, right?
different. Yeah, who knows if they might come down. But even then, like the Venezuelas, the Perus, the Bolivias, they didn't want. A lot of them didn't want Mex. And even like if you think about it, Ecuador, even Paraguay, like a lot of those teams.
Uruguay. Yeah.
Colombia.
I don't know about like Uruguay, but like I'm saying because they're like I'll say they have Mexico's number, but Mexico seems to be on par or have a better record than the other teams, than the teams I mentioned.
Would you argue
But
that
I mean,
Conmebol is the toughest region to qualify for the World Cup?
I don't know now with all their tickets.
I still,
I think it was up until
I would say objectively yes, because they only get like what 6 spots. So,
but 6 out of 10. But it used to be what? It used
Like
to be just 4.
5.5, right? 4.5.
I think 4, but you have Brazil and Argentina there, so
Yeah.
you get two
like
tickets only.
You look at Europe, they get a bunch of, they get like 16, right? They get like a bunch of spots.
When there's also many teams, and once they break into groups, you could be qualifying against San Marino or
Yeah.
or some other like small like Iceland, some small teams like that.
Yeah, for sure. Real quick, Tigres just scored a 3rd goal. Got a little bit of insurance now against Orlando. 70th minute, 3-1 in favor of Tigres. Looks like they're going to be going into the next round of the CONCACAF Champions League. and they will be playing against Columbus in the quarterfinals if this result stands. Joel, we haven't heard you talk about how you feel about Chivas' chances against America tomorrow. Also, how long of a leash does Gago have left before we see him get canned? You know, if he ends up losing all three Clásicos, would you think that'd be the nail in the coffin for him?
Yeah, he might already be there. Just going off of what Habibi said, if all the players look like, they look dead in the water already. Like he lost that locker room, but you just can't sack him. It's not like you just have a handful of coaches waiting to take over. And we've seen already what happens with when you bring in a coach to take over like a really bad season, and then they just end up piling it on that. And now that's why I don't really like these short tournaments, because there's not even gonna get that much of a chance to show what he has. He just got here and we're already quoting him. But yeah, if he doesn't win, any of those games, I would say he's pretty much at the door already, just waiting for the season to end to boot him out.
No mames, way. Seriously, you think that he's already out after
kinda
one
sucks. It's
season?
not much his fault. Not his fault how a lot of the stuff played out. Just bad timing.
Pinche Liga MX,
Kind of reminds me of when
gloriosa,
we had that whole
tóxica y
thing with
todo lo demás.
Thomas Boy would arrive and it'd be like he's just gonna coach 4 games, and then like, oh, not really, he's taking over the team, and then they'll bring Cardoso, and we had like what 4 or 5 coaches like that. So I think Chivas learned their lesson. They're just let them write it out.
I'm with Joel on this one. I think they're just gonna wait a ver si llega la liguilla, y si no llega la liguilla, after that they're gonna be like, you know what, thank you, see ya.
Like I said, this is Fernando Hierro's like first coach like that he actually picked out. I seriously doubt he'll get him fired before the end of the season.
Honestly, man, if they do, it's nothing more than fucking Mexican short-sightedness, man. Like, look, fire him after a year, 2 seasons, 2 torneos. Then you can fire him. No mames, güey. Por 6 meses, te estás jugando la chamba en qué?
Not even 3 months.
Exactly. Like, no mames, güey. Like, this is fucking stupid, and this is the type of shit that makes me really angry about Liga MX. But at the same time, I get to see Piojo doing that little nervous dance where he's playing with his tie every weekend. So I get it.
Yeah, dude, it's a very short leash. Rafael Carioca just received a red card, so Tigres will finish out the game with 1 man down. About 17 minutes left in this match. But yeah, I'm really dreading these upcoming Chivas games, man. You know, how much worse can this get? You know, you have a 3-0 deficit going into tomorrow's game, and you conceded all those goals at home. So, I mean, Chivas would have to score a minimum of 3, maybe 4 goals to get past them. I mean, in what world, in what universe can Chivas flip the script tomorrow?
They can't, and just wait until the pictures I'm going to be putting through on the chat.
No, dude. No, you're absolutely not allowed to post any photos after the shit that you've been posting.
Bro, esa pinche foto, estaba viendo mi teléfono y someone was behind me and said, what's that? I'm like, don't worry about it.
Bro, I was at fucking BJ's having dinner, and this motherfucker puts it in the chat. I ended up not eating anything. Thanks.
But the fucked up part was because for some reason it went full screen. I was like, ah, fuck. I was like, come on, get it out.
Mijo, ¿qué es eso?
Hey, exactly. ¿Qué onda?
Miren, carnales, si no saben de lo que estamos hablando, es una chica
No,
que
No, no
muy
sabes. We
guapa,
know, bro. We
no,
know.
dude, no,
pero
dude.
nos está enseñando no nomás el chicle,
Bro,
pero toda la rosa.
That was a prolapse one, bro.
Pues, güey, así está Chivas y nomás espérense, güey, because right now, bro, I'm scared of people looking through my camera roll because the
oh
shit that I've
my
been gearing
God,
up for you
dude.
guys, just
It's
wait.
disgusting. You're disgusting, dude.
Hey, wait, you've been hoarding that shit. That's what's going on.
You know what, bro? I went like on an hour-long dive after Chivas lost just to
Bruh.
find the best ones.
You need the Lord and Savior in your life.
Yeah. Necesitas un baño de agua bendita. That's what you need. Your phone. Your phone needs one of those.
Man. Boys, we're at the 2-hour mark. I want to put a bow tie on this episode. Of course, want to give you guys the platform to speak and give your closing thoughts before we wrap up episode 422. I love the energy tonight and appreciate all y'all. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first. So first off, I want to say thank you for being consistent, being a man of your word, y que no seas un pinche puto que te escondiste de mí como la semana pasada. Que you're like, no, bro, I'm out busy. We can't do it. And then all of a sudden it's like 3 a.m. and it's like, yo, y'all ready to go? No mames, güey. Just because your team got your shit pushed in doesn't
I
mean
was
you
half
have to
asleep,
hide.
güey. Cuando llegó el message, dije, ay, güey.
Like, doesn't mean you have to hide. No hay pedo. Pero ahora, de que primero te folló Cruz Azul y luego que te lo hizo el América otra vez, pues entiendo por qué te duele. Y luego todavía peor que te lo hizo un pinche equipo de segunda. No mames. Pero I do want to bring up a couple points that were brought up in last week's pod,
Let's
right?
hear it.
The biggest thing, and it's that large conversation that we had about Liga MX Femenil and just kind of the way that it's going. Habibi had a beautiful take on there where he said that Mexico will be world champions before Mexico men is. And I fully believe that. I'm 100% about it. As someone, like I said, who's my father-in-law has dealt with a lot of disappointment in his life and has 2 daughters and is an avid fan of female soccer, like I get it. And the level of growth that there is, not that there has been in the US, and that's why they were so dominant for so long. Hey, guess what? There's a lot of Mexicans here in the US as well. And guess what? That same level of disappointment doesn't know, race. In fact, it's even worse because let's be honest, how many of us wish that we have a son instead of a daughter? And luego, pues chinga, güey, me salieron 3 niñas, pues a lo mejor una de ellas juega fútbol. Porque vamos a ser honestos, en los Estados Unidos estamos dispuestos a dejar que nuestras hijas jueguen fútbol a vez de decirles que se caen en el hocico y que me hagan unas tortillas. ¿Verdad? Como lo hacemos en México. Entonces, that's why there will be a lot of like pocho players, like that girl who scored that amazing goal. If you listen to her Spanish, it's fucking worse than Habibi's, right? Because she grew up here. Like, I get it, right?
Man.
That's the way it goes. So I understand that inevitably over time, I do see it clear that not Liga MX, but Mexico Femenil will win a World Cup before the US because they do share that pot of wealth where, children of diaspora, man, we came over here, we're doing something, and now they're that little piece of us that ties us back to our home country, we'll die for it. Other than that, just, man, bro, like, lube up before these coming days porque mañana, el fin de semana, no mames, güey. Like, you know what? Do me a favor. Buy a ball gag because I don't want for the neighbors to hear that.
Abdias, I appreciate your color commentary and listening to last week's 3-hour session. I commend you. There was definitely a lot of good stuff in that last episode. Who else wants to go? Johnny Rico, any closing thoughts you have?
Yeah, I think I think life is perfect right now if you're an America fan. You know, America can't be. They really could not play any better. Like, can anybody name three things America can improve on? I think the way the coach is coaching the team, the way he has the the backups playing at the same level as the starters, it's amazing to watch. And tomorrow's game, I expect another 3-0 minimum. And I don't think anyone would say I'm exaggerating with that one because exaggerating would be expecting a 6-0, but I think another 3-0 is very reasonable for the level that Chivas and America are at,
Ooh.
considering it's the Azteca.
Sorry,
Uh,
Cordova just scored a golazo 4-1 Tigres, 81st minute. But Johnny, yeah, man, I'm sure Chivas are gonna get sick and tired of America in the next 7 days.
yeah, and then for Saturday, I expect probably a more chill win for America, maybe a 2-1 win, because after 4 games in 10 days for America is quite a lot. They're going to be tired, but I expect two victories for America in these two coming clásicos, and I think I wouldn't get rid like if I was with the Chivas, I wouldn't get rid of Gago just yet. I know it's embarrassing to lose to America, but yeah, you got to hold on to a project a little longer. Like you got Gago's been hired now, just roll with it. I don't think firing him is the answer.
Yep, I agree. Just take it easy on us in the league, yeah. Put your reserve side in there on
The
Saturday.
the reserve squad that beat Tigres.
Yeah, I think that would be fair. Fair game.
Yeah, I still expect. I still would expect America to win that one, even with reserves.
I love it. Who knows what's gonna happen tomorrow? Freaking Vic said Walter Mercado just scored a golazo. Sebastian Cordova, man, the memes just they make themselves. Let's see. Al Pastor, you're still on. Closing thoughts.
My closing thoughts is that I usually would say, "Yo, like this is embarrassing. You know, America destroyed us, and they're potentially gonna destroy us again." But honestly, I think I'm just numb. I'm numb to the. I think if you accept the truth, it doesn't sting as much. If you accept that you're about to get your ass kicked, you don't even put your fist up. Just take the punch, accept the plane, and just move on. And I think that's where Chivas is at, not just as fans. Because I mean, if the fans feel like this, because if you go online, you go to social media, most of the fans are like, doing memes. Oh, when Chicharito scores a 7-1, this is how I'm gonna celebrate. Bullshit like that. If the fans are feeling like this, bro, the players are feeling like this.
Facts.
Yeah, so I think it's gonna like he said it's gonna be an embarrassing result. And honestly, this is the thing. Even if Chivas loses 3-0, this is how bad shit is right now. If Chivas loses 3-0, it's not even as embarrassing. It's expected. Embarrassing would be the 6-0, the 7-0, like que le clavaron a los Chemos. That would be embarrassing. Like at this point, 3-0 is just expected. And then La Liga, I think a Pocho is out and some other player is out due to like yellow card accumulation. So
Chiquete Rosco.
yeah, you get this. So honestly, 3-0 would be normal result. Anything above 5 would be embarrassing, and that is sad to say. It is sad to say that you lose to your arch rival by 3 goals, and it's acceptable.
It's like, hey,
Now I know what
it's
it
not that
feels to
bad. It
be.
was just 3 goals.
Yeah, that bad. And now I know what it feels to be an Atletico Madrid fan, a Manchester United fan, like a Tottenham fan. It's just fucking embarrassing, man. Hope football has its ups and downs. It's a roller coaster. Hopefully, we see some ups anytime soon, because these downs definitely suck, man. You know what sucks? When my kid comes up to me, he's 4 years old. He's like, "Papá, cómo quedaron las Chivas?" I'm not gonna lie to him. I'm not gonna say, "Oh, they won." I'm like, "Oh no, perdieron." And he's like, "Contra quién?" I'm like, "Contra la América." Oh my god, cut my balls off, man. I feel like a, I feel like a trans. I feel like someone who has no dick. Okay, I feel like my manhood has been taken away. Fucking embarrassing, man.
Oh, dude, it's not that serious, bro. It's just a game. Why you have to get mad? It's just a game. But I do think though that the uh the expectations have diminished this season. FC Gorditos, what you got for us?
As a winner of La Chiquiquiniela, I'm going to give a couple predictions here. Chivas win, but they don't move on to the next round. Van a ganar un 3-1. And then on Saturday, ay, güey, nos van a culiar, como dice el pinche Abdias. We're going to probably lose like 3-0, 4-1 if we're lucky, el de la honra. But man, Chivas, they're just in the gutters right now. And I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Look, I'm a Nene Beltran fanatic, dude. Pinche caribaja, you no están ni conectando passes. I'm like, what's going on, Nene? Nene, come on, bro, do your thing. No, all the players are just not. They're not there right now.
Yeah, and I would even say I would list him as transferable after this season, man. I know it sucks to say that, but I think it would benefit both him and the club to just, hey, like, let's just move you to a different, because you see it time and time again. These guys are great. They have talent. They move away from Chivas and they flourish. And I think maybe just like the weight and the expectations at Chivas is just too much for him. And I honestly think, it would be smart to part ways with him and get something in return. You know, I think there's a lot of other players in Liga MX that we might be able to barter with.
What would you say for a loan spurt? Like
I'm not a fan
like
of a loan because,
damn.
yeah, it's just nah, dude. We got to make a permanent decision on him. And there's some other midfielders like Fidel Ambris would be nice.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Cada vez que vamos por uno de esos players, the price triples.
Even like I'll even say it, man. I'll take a Charlie Rodriguez. I know if he's kind of
Nah, bro, come on.
he's
That's
inconsistent.
they're
Charlie
never gonna
Rodriguez
they're never
and
gonna
Nene
give us
Beltran
Charlie.
are the same thing, man. They're ghosts. You're trading a ghost for a ghost.
Yeah, I think it's a benefit, because look at the Piojo Antuna move. Like it benefited both parties, right? I think Nene has a lot of value, and I think we could probably get a good return on him.
I mean, what I would say to FC Gorditos, talking about the price tripling, I will say that Hierro going for Wally, Cow, and all that is helping that settle down. It's helping that diminish. Because before it was like, hey, if you want them, pay this much. If not, who else are you gonna get? And now Hierro's like, hey, motherfucker, I'll go get somebody from Iceland whose great grandpa slept with a Mexican lady over spring break. So it's helped the price drop. Like it's helped. He has more supply now.
Yeah,
Now,
you're right.
as far as the approach Chivas is taking, I think it's time we copy the Pachuca approach. It means you
Cantera,
have a
bro.
Nene
Cantera.
come up, you have a Chiquete come up, sell them. Like sell the hype, sell them while they're hot, and then like recoup that money for 3-4 years, and then like on year 4, that's when you go balls out, get 3-4 quality refuerzos, plus your good cantera,
Yeah, but we
and make
can't
a push
get
for the
we can't
chip.
get Rondon, man. Rondon is
If you
Venezuelan.
guys saw the La Volpismo podcast with Nestor, they were doing exactly just that.
For
Well,
sure.
see,
Chivas was doing exactly just that. He goes on to explain how they had like 4 players already, like mapped out 4 players down. So if they lost a player from the first team, they already had the next 4 lined up, like how they were trajectory, how they was going to play out. So he gives the example for the goalkeepers, and he says how they sold Osvaldo because they had Michel and the
Toño.
guy they sold to Toluca,
Talavera.
Talavera. So we had these 2. Then he says Tala gets to go to the World Cup. I think it was a suplente. And he was like, the plan was to sell Talavera. I mean, not Talavera. To sell Luis
Michel.
Michel because you could have gotten the most. He has a World Cup. And he's like, but at this point he was out. And he says what would they end up doing? They sold Talavera. They pretty much undid. They had like if you see the whole Chivas setup, they had like under because they brought Hans to do that to like structure their whole fuerzas básicas and first team. And the way the team was running, it was just amazing to see, and it kind of like now you're seeing like all the struggles, and it's sort of like, how did you forget like everything you had there? Like, why don't you just pick up the phone, ring this guy, have him like put the blocks back together, because they clearly took a dump over everything. And this was at the point where Chivas was the most competitive, top to bottom, and they destroyed it all within the club. Like the club itself burned it.
Real quick, game's not over here in Nuevo León. Orlando score off a PK, 90th minute. It's 4-2 with 8 minutes of stoppage. So we'll see how this ends up. Joel, you want to take this chance to give us your closing thoughts?
Yeah, I was just going off of, they were talking about, you played, I don't know if it was a meme, but Man City offering Chivas.
Yeah, that was a rumor. 1.2 billion for Chivas.
Yeah, I do think, because I think America recently went into the stock market. And I know Mari has talked about that, putting the team in the Mexican stock market. And I think something like that will eventually be necessary, because only like just they can't compete with Televisa, with Cemento Cruz Azul, with Cemex. So they just can't, they're not at that level. And they're not going to be really doubted. Just that, or either wait for quite a good 10, maybe 20-year waiting. The whole train, I know you guys heard of the Tren Maya. So there's a big train by the Yucatan Peninsula.
Yep.
But there's also an airport. And it's not like a regular airport. It's like a massive.
It's for like freight, right?
Yes, freight. So that whole thing is supposed to shortstop all the trading in Panama Canal. It's now going to go through Mexico. There was an economist, I forget his name. He was predicting Mexico within the next like 20, 30 years to go become like the sixth or seventh, economy in the world. And that I think that could play a big role on it, the whole trading. And of course, that's supposing everything goes well. But if it does go well, we're talking 20 years from now, that's a lot of money going in. We could be seeing a whole different Liga MX and different Chivas too.
Oh, man. Ricardo, in the YouTube chat, the GOAT tiers on tonight's pod couldn't fill all of America's 18 league titles. Ricardo, why weren't you on the pod tonight?
Hey, you know what Chivas needs to do? Talking about what Joel was talking about, stock market and stuff like that. They need to stop beating around the bush. They need to take a note from Jorge Vergara. They need to go back to Chivas USA, just ask to be allowed into the MLS.
Oh, my God.
And then you can do your Mexican Americans, you can do your Mexicans, and you can play someone that's at your level.
Oh, my God. That must be one of the worst takes I've heard since being host of Cantina MX. I know you're
we'd
just
be competing
kidding,
with LAFC. We'd be competing with Galaxy.
it'd be even more
It'd be a
embarrassing
fair
when we
fight.
don't win the league every single year, dude. It'd be even more
It'd be
embarrassing.
a fair fight. And then no one will criticize you about all your Mexican Americans.
We didn't even get out of the Leagues Cup, dog. What's saying we're going to do well in MLS? We'll probably do worse. But anyways, guys, we're at the 2:20 mark. Just want to say thank you all for joining us tonight on this exciting episode of Cantina MX Football Podcast. Of course, our sponsor, Manscaped. Get 20% off with the promo code Cantina at checkout. My hot take for tonight is, as of right now, Liga MX versus MLS. Liga MX is undefeated, and I anticipate them being that way throughout the entire CONCACAF Cup. I know there will be some Mexican on Mexican action, unfortunately, but if I'm not mistaken, the way the bracket goes, we could easily see a Liga MX team versus a Liga MX team. At least according to CONCACAF.com. Like, I'm looking at the bracket here. It looks like Tigres will play Columbus, and the winner of Miami Nashville will play against the winner of Monterrey Cincinnati. I know it's in everyone's best interest to Messi, go on this crazy tear, but I think eventually they will face a team from Mexico that will defeat them. So we'll see how this tournament plays out. But as of right now, Liga MX is undefeated on head-to-head versus MLS. And it, again, for now. Aside from that, yeah, like Habibi said, I'm kind of just expecting the worst out of the Chivas America games tomorrow and Saturday. At this point, no expectations. Just, stay away from the face and, keep it under the belt. It's just like, let's, be respectful, beat us up, but, give us our dignity. But who knows, looking to see if maybe Javier gets his nut off against America.
The only thing I would add to keeping dignity, man, Gago needs to teach them Argentino things. If you're already losing, like when we went to Boca, if you're already losing, there's 20 minutes left. That's where you start breaking legs. That's where you start doing slide tackles. Like, I would be happy to see that. Like, if we're completely wiped off the field,
Completely
don't let them
agree.
walk you over the last 20 minutes. Dude, go throw a punch, go
agree.
throw an elbow, get 5 red cards. I don't care. I would like that more.
I just want to see some kind of fight, dude, some kind of reaction.
Yeah.
You look at some of these matches, and after the game, they're like laughing, hugging each other. I'm like, what the fuck is this bullshit, dude?
Yeah, go break Fidalgo's leg. Go break Henry Martin's leg. Like, I would count those as goals on the scoreboard.
And they used to do that back in the day. If they're going to lose, they're going to go down swinging, and you don't even see that. There's no balls on this team. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyways, folks, want to thank you all tonight and hope everyone has a fantastic week. We'll catch you in the next one. Take care. YouTube, thank you all for joining us tonight. Disco Fever, Ricardo coming in on the last minute. And hope Isa Tigres may be catching us on the